You know what? I'm just, for the sake of it, Tools, I'm gonna take that bet. I'm gonna say that Native White clutch up and they come out with this win. They did take down SSG in the winners finals just a week and a half ago. I'm thinking they come back with a little bit more of that. And Space Station, I'm worried about their endurance factor after that tough phase game 5 loss.
Oh, I'm not worried about anything after that start. What a beautiful play by Space Station, perfectly crafting the opening that they wanted, baiting the Rockets into a lane where Stellar could take care of them, hits that crazy snipe shot, but then the follow-up is just a little bit lackluster from them. But you can tell Space Station has been lathing up the starts on some of these maps, and right now I think they have a very efficient start to pit flag.
Yeah, it was very reminiscent to that Aquarius CTF that we saw yesterday, where Space Station had 2 captures in about a minute, but Native White are quicker to respond here. It's the double kill, looking for the triple kill from Mikwin. He pre-placed this drop wall in order to retreat back behind it, but as he rounds the corner, 3 more players from Space Station are ready to take him down. He burns an extra round of that sniper, so as he goes down, doesn't give up any ammo for the other side.
Look at Stellar immediately lasering Gilkey down, and oh, he pushes him into the fence. It's still the AM over somewhere on this play. I guess Hawaii. They're still serving up. They're still serving up some pancakes.
Yeah. What time is it in Australia? Like 5 a.m. So over there, they can get some pancakes delivered out there. You can have pancakes any time of day. I need to argue that point. My favorite medal comes across the screen from Stellar, and it's Eco being a nuisance in the back of the base while Penguin gets the double kill. Penguin looking at the triple leaves Mikwin at 1 shot, but look at the rotation of the flag. Look at how quickly Bound is moving. In fact, I don't think Native White can even contest this run, except for Mikwin. Mikwin sneaks through to the other side of green, drops the flag runner. Is it going to be enough? Penguin's picking back up the flag. Mikwin has stopped 2 flag carriers in their tracks. Might go for the counter pull here on the return just for the stall factor. This would be the goal line stand if I've ever seen one.
Incredibly patient plays by Mikwin, right? He stops that flag, but he waits. And once Penguin misses that movement tech with that flag, when he fumbles just a little bit, it gives Mikwin enough time to get the kill. And then using that drop shield heat wave combination proves to be enough. They get the return. Phenomenal job at Mikwin, single-handedly stopping a flag in its tracks.
And Mikwin has continued to be the leader on the team. Right here, he comes out with the trade as he contests for Rockets. It's Bound rolling through with the heat wave. Overshield in the hands of teammates. It's Penguin, but what can shut down the overshield is a pink miss.
Tapping buttons. We might as well call him what, the Mexican Walshy with that pink miss out there, trying to take down the opponents. And unfortunately for this Native White rosters, they've had great opportunities throughout this game to get some highlight kills, but it's been reactionary. They're reacting to how Space Station's playing on the map. And while Stellar's been a big part of that, 11 kills and 4 deaths, and it's because of his ability with this sniper rifle that's really letting Space Station fly throughout this map.
11 and 4 is Stellar with 7 full rounds of the sniper to work with. Tries to line out a shot across the way to Gilkey, but he's not going to find his mark. In fact, it's Tapping Buttons who rolls on through, grabs the rest of that sniper. Also has a repulsor at the ready, so if somebody tries to rush to take him down, he just sends them flying for Mind the Gap. Can Tapping Buttons lead the way for a counter push here from Native White? A little bit on their back foot in the early stages of this game, but a kill and assist might just get them what they need, and that's the flag pull. What an interesting route from Barcode, not taking it long haul. Look at where Eco is positioned. The recognition from Barcode to not rush over to the long haul side. He is stopped short. 2 players go down for Space Station, but Tapping Buttons can't stay here on defense. He might need to fill in on that flag run.
It's all about recognition, knowing what is open. And yes, it's unorthodox to run this through the snipe side, but the power position is here. The sniper Tapping Buttons is keeping everyone at bay. Penguin not going to be able to get that kill, but Eco cleans it up, but it's all too little too late. Gilkey punches it in, and we're tied up 1-all.
Unconventional run, but a score is a score is a score. The capture comes through, the tie game. Gilkey fires shots down, gets the kill onto the banana side, and now look at Bound. I think Bound might have a sniper on the side here of SSG as the shots go out across. Stellar on the flank play catches the back. Can he catch the rockets? The repulsor's gonna buy him a second to try to ready that rocket, but Barco does not give him room to breathe, surviving with 1 HP, rewarded with 2 rockets.
Yeah, there's always a pickup time to when you can use the weapon. You have to get it ready, and it was just maybe a millisecond away from that rocket going down. And well, instead, Barcode gets these rockets, and he doesn't waste any time playing forward. Those 3 players getting down, he's doing 2 things, right? He's getting the flag out for his team, he's getting the power position ready, and he's blocking the spawns for his team. And now it's just a patience game. Let his team catch up to his fast, aggressive play while he takes on every one-on-one. The Aussies on 5 in a row, and the rest of Native White need to catch up.
I think it was one of our favorite casters, Tony, saying yesterday that Barcode, he's used to it. He's been fighting kangaroos his whole life, and they can catch these hands as he gets the takedown, gets the killing spree. The flag is at the 50% mark, but Stellar is here to contest it. Gilkey and Barco are working together. They might have some team fire. That team fire is enough for the takedown. This flag is now at risk of putting Native White up 2-1. Going that home stretch as the new round of snipers spawn in. I'm not counting it yet. There it is. There's the dunk lead for Native White.
Phenomenal plays by tapping buttons, recognizing where his flank potential was. Once he saw the path, he gets behind the players and it makes for an immediate flag run while collapsing onto Stellar, who was making a phenomenal play at long haul, but the resources just weren't there. And that's where this team is getting really dangerous. Native White is starting to control the map, and for the first time, they're playing proactive Halo. They're being the first ones to take the step forward, and Mikwin showing why he's one of the best snipers in Halo's history. His ability to pre-aim and execute on shots is second to none.
Mick when? Mick now, because right now he's making the plays with the sniper. 1, 2, 3 go down for SSG. Eco might be next up on the menu. Mikwin continuing to lock down long haul. He has the drop wall. We saw the play earlier where he overextended with the sniper, fell back behind that drop wall for the protection, and he's gonna find the back of Penguin for the assist. Oh, just barely over the head of Eco. That counter sniper is a problem for Mikwin. God. Does he connect on that? Does he? It was enough for damage. The BR is gonna clean up the rest of the kill.
Mikwin is in the flow state right now with how he's playing on this game. It's not necessarily about the execution of the shots he's making. It's about his pacing, his position, his timing. Everything was perfect in that sequence. But unfortunately, the rest of his team just weren't able to keep up. Barcode keeps that flag alive, but the rest of Spacestation are there, and they're going to work on a counter opportunity. They need the rest of Native White to keep up with Mikwin right there. I feel like they let him down just a little bit on that play, and it's going to lead to a potentially dangerous position for this Native White team.
Did you see the timing of Stellar's jump off the top of that assault rifle spawn? Mikwin rounds the corner. He looks at plasma grenades, detonates both in case he's hiding there. Stellar jumps up in the air, breaks line of sight, catches him off guard. I mean, that's about as close to an assassination as you can get in Halo Infinite. Great timing and positioning from Stellar, and that's why he's still here contesting against tapping buttons with the repulsor to preserve his life off of that incoming frag. But Spacestation are winning kill after kill. They're down 1 capture, 3 minutes and change left.
And sometimes you're not every push can be successful, right? You're going to lose some, but how many players you take down, how much time you can buy for your team off respawn is a huge part of the equation on a failed push. And that's where Native White was very effective with tapping buttons in particular. He was able to put down damage, stay alive for that extra little bit, and it prevents Spacestation from taking advantage of those numbers right away. Instead of being able to work for an attack, now they're just fighting for that 50-50 control. And Native White has been playing a strong game since, but this is where things can change. Stellar has the sniper rifle. He's one of the best in the game with this weapon, and pairing it up with the heat wave is a dangerous opportunity.
The sniper heat wave combo in the hands of Stellar, and he hits the no scope, the cleanup kill. Eco's in the back of the base. Mikwin is approaching, flushing Eco out of the base, but Eco gave him the slip. We got a little bit of a picture-in-picture here. This is a game 5. It looks like this is Rebellion versus G1 coming down to the final seconds as the clock ticks down.
Rebellion's doing their best, but it looks like the time is running out. Avengers are your victor while upsetting Shopify Rebellion. The Avengers get their job done. I mean, what a run from them. 2 Game 5s. They beat G1 and now Shopify Rebellion. This Avengers roster is real. You got to keep an eye on them, as we'll keep an eye on Mikwin and how he's stopping this push from Spacestation Gaming.
Oh, thanks for the correction there. Big plays coming out from Avengers. 1-point game in a Game 5. And that has been the story of Slayers today, coming down to the wire. This game might do the same as the tying capture comes through for SSG. 1:13 left on the clock. We're looking at a potential overtime, but the push is in here for Native White. The counter cap possibility is shut down. Bound gets a kill. Penguin gets a kill. Native White are scrambling on Long Hill side, and the clock continues to tick. We saw an overtime 1-1 CTF earlier today. Are we going to see another here again?
Remember, we talk about game trends and what stats can tell us throughout games and the history of what teams have done. And there's been a clear history with the results of how Gilkey plays in flags and how Native White succeeds. Gilkey, he needs to hit that 20 kill threshold. That's not there. And as this game continues to wind down, although it's been a valiant effort from Native White, their game is in danger. Stellar might steal this one away. We need to see a response from Native White.
Gonna try to form a response here, but Bound, that player that was a huge part of the last series, but it's Gilkey with the remote detonation. He might not be at 20, he might not even be close to 20, but that kill was crucial to get the takedown. Native White are now winning out on the Slays. They need to force an overtime. They need to stay alive on this reset, and as the clock ticks down, there's no one in range of a flagpole. We're going to overtime.
And remember, overtime, the beginning of this game was where Space Station looked so efficient. We'll have to see if they copy that start and perfectly bait these rockets in, or if they change their pace. Penguin's going to put some pressure on Barcode right away, but it's not going to stop him from getting the rockets. But notice how he's not going to want to push forward. He stays back this time, learning his lesson as Stellar ripped his face off the last time ago.
He doesn't know that Bound is in his base, and he doesn't even have time to find that out because he's taken down. Watch out. Stellar still has half of the overshield left to work with. Bound being a menace at the back of the base. Stellar gets one. Mikwin answers with a double kill. He's a little bit stuck in the lift. Stays alive. 7 rounds with the sniper, and that double kill single-handedly. Mikwin time and time again has been making the plays to keep Native White in the fight.
Yeah, the problem is it's keeping them in the fight. They're not pushing forward on the map right now. It's clear reactionary responses to what Space Station's doing, and it's being led by Stellar. He's been phenomenal on this push, and he shuts down Gilkey with the sniper. Penguin's in position to pull, and Stellar's thinking, hey, I think they're going to either spawn at that needles or they're going to spawn underneath. Barcode gets the split. Barcode goes down. They're lining up for Stellar in the tower.
They're lining up for Stellar. The flag is on the move. Stellar now is raining down fire, but it's tapping buttons on the opposite side, getting the counter flag pull. The only hope right now for Native White, and he has a little bit of help though. Native White find the kills. They have the numbers. Penguin being a little bit sneaky about the flag positioning here at the bottom of S1. He's trying to set up Stellar across the map, but he's not able to do enough damage.
Gilkey's up high. He's gonna try for a sneaky return. Penguin can't do anything about it. Gilkey needed to go big. Gilkey has the drop shield. They can't do nothing about it. The return's in. The flag comes home. Native White steals it.
Gilkey might not have hit the 20 kill mark, but he hit the kill needed. The clutch play, great pickup from Tools to see that Gilkey was primed on the sneaky return, and Native White, they get the game 1 win.
That's just phenomenal play. If we returned this like 30 seconds before, Gilkey was so patient for this moment. He waited so long at the back of base. We're not gonna, you can see him rotating through. This is when he rotates through, and eventually this flag comes home. You're gonna see tapping buttons take it home while Gilkey comes through. But he hides right there. He's at base 333 on the clock. Watch how long he waits to make a play. Right? He's in the back base, 330. You see him hiding. Right? How long does he wait? He waits for everyone from Space Station to play forward on the map. and then 15 seconds later, he makes his move. No one's there to respond. The drop shield, because he came from long haul, is enough to stop Bound from even having a chance to return it. And Gilkey shows that it's not necessarily about the active plays that you make, but it's about being patient, waiting for the dead spots, waiting for teams to not check your base, to lose count of the numbers. And that's when you can come and make the big play and steal games away.
By far, the play of the game coming out from Gilkey. You might have thought up until that point underperforming across the level of expectation, but it was Mikwin who was really keeping Native White in the fight. What you had mentioned, Tools, is that Native White was playing reactionary Halo. They were responding to whatever SSG was delivering, and maybe that was the individual incident where we saw Native White finally take the reins, finally grab hold of the steering wheel as Gilkey pushed the issue at the perfect time, the perfect drop wall to prevent Bounce Grenade from cleaning him out, the reset for the overtime capture, and just like that, we see Native White in control of the series with that 1-0 lead.
Right, it just goes to show that it can all just come down to one individual play, right? We see trends throughout games, we see stats dictate a lot, but at the end of the day, it comes down to plays that are made in the clutchest moments. And although Gilkey didn't have a great individual performance throughout that game when it comes to the stats, what he did do was he made a play call and his team trusted him, right? If his team keeps pushing forward and tries to get to that 50-yard line and doesn't bait the rest of Space Station into playing through the map, he doesn't get that return. Instead, he says, stay back, make sure we keep this flag. I am going to return it. And they had 100% trust in Gilkey to get the job done. I love to see that development from this Native White team. I think that's one of the reasons why this team has seen such rapid improvement, is that anyone on this team can make a play call and they will listen. There's no one going rogue. There's no one trying to do more than they should. Everyone is working as a unit, and it's all for one goal. It's to get a win. It's not about the stats. It's not about slaying out more than the other team. It's about getting a W at the end of the day, and that's why they win game one.
It's games like that that just remind you why you love the game of Halo. Like, I have goosebumps from that absolute excitement. And thank you everyone for watching. We just hit 35,000 followers on the channel. What an incredible milestone, and the incredible gameplay is going to continue on. We have game number 2. It might not be Slayer, the best game type of Space Station, but they are so proficient when it comes to Aquarius. Something's got to give. Eco staying alive. He has no health, but he has the double kill.
Right, it's about the value you can get out of your life. Of a player of a less caliber pushes too forward, they die too early. Eco, he's not necessarily planning on a player dropping in front of him, but he plans to keep his life as long as possible. And because he does that, opportunity reaches him. He gets a double kill that he definitely doesn't deserve. And now Space Station use that as momentum to launch forward and get themselves a 4-kill advantage.
A 4-kill advantage here for Space Station, ready to get right back in this series, ready to tie things up. It's not over yet, but they are happy with this opening break. Bound is looking for more. Bound with the movement always looks like such a hungry player. He's never resting and waiting. He's always on the prowl for the next takedown. You see teammate across, looks like Penguin at the top of mid is going to find a melee onto tapping buttons, and Bound is the player on the flank, catching the back of Gilkey in the nick of time to clean up the rest of that kill.
And Gilkey thought about coming back towards the middle, and he stayed back for just a bit too long, and that allowed Bound to fly forward. He gets the kill. Space Station spawns behind them all, and now Native White have to wait at the back of base, and Bound with that pistol. He's a dangerous person, looking like Halo 5 with that pistol thrust combination, but finally Native White gets some kills. The damage is down. Space Station trying to salvage the situation, but they've given up control of the top half of the map right when camouflage was coming up.
Top mid control so crucial, especially with the timing of active camo. And right now it's Native White, only 3 points down, make it 2. Barcode going dark with the camo play, finds the cleanup kill, and Mikwin off screen finds another to cut this to 1. It might just come down to a tie. You see that Bound for once slowing down, knowing that Camo was in play and waited for Barcode around that corner. Bound cleans up the kill. He shuts down what could have been a Camo spree.
Tapping flying forward. This is what I love about Tapping, is he understands how much power he has on the map at any moment, and realizes that if he can play forward and get advanced timing on people where they don't expect him, that's where he's going to be at his best. Because when it comes to the one-on-one gunfights where he has to drop on you, he's never going to lose them. And I think that's what makes this international duo so special, because Barcode's the same way. These guys have so much talent running through them, and they're starting to understand timing on the highest level possible. And when they truly master that, like some of the players like Snakebite and Lucid, that's when you're really going to see something special from these international duos.
We might not have even seen the peak of what Native White can climb across this season, and it's players like Tapping Buttons that you have to keep your eyes locked down. We called out Bound on the side of Space Station needing to make the big plays. Tapping Buttons making the smart heads-up plays, and with the gun skill to back it up as he gets another takedown on the board, using the thruster to re-engage against Stellar. Maybe a half second too early. He didn't have full shield on that re-engagement. Stellar took advantage.
Halfway to victory.
This heat wave is going to be so important to the success of both teams, and making sure that you have control of it and keeping track of the red rack update is going to be so important. Heat wave doesn't have as much of an impact as they used to have on the map, but now that it's few and far between, you have to make sure you're the one that's controlling it, because it can be responsible for swings in this game at any moment. Ensuring that you don't give up anything for free is really the role of the coach of both of these teams, and whoever's coach is more on top of those times can really make a big difference in this game.
And you're going to need every advantage in this game. It's a 1-point game, and the last time these two teams played that Aquarius Slayer, it was a 50-46 win for Native White. Just a 4-point game. But now Space Station have that added intensity of being down 1-0 in the series. They get 3 straight kills in a row, and now they have that lead back. A 2-point lead for Space Station as they cross past that 30-point check mark in the game Slayer. This is where things really begin.
It's always dangerous to go 3 down, but one thing that Native White's been very effective at is ensuring that they go 3 down but don't get split on the map. Once you go 3-4 down and you get split away from each other, that's when games can get dangerous. But I might have spoken too early. You see this Native White?
Wow.
They're starting to collapse in on Barcode. They're going to try to force spawns away from Barcode and ensure that they always have a numbers advantage. But Barcode just 1v3, he takes 2 down with him. That's like the best possible value you can get in that situation.
Yeah, I was shocked when he came out with that second kill. It looked like they had him dead to rights, but you know, maybe took it for granted. Don't discount Barcode until you see him all the way down. But Gilkey with the Hail Mary, the plasma clear across the map gets 1. He has 2, looking for the triple. Bound stays alive with 1 HP on the plasma spawn. Space Station are up by 5. Mikwin maybe calling for a little bit of a slow down in the pace. Camo is 7 seconds away.
Eco is going to be able to stop Mikwin short right there, and now suddenly Native White have to be very concerned about giving up this camouflage. Bound had a thrust, so he didn't grab it.
Yeah.
And this is a huge opportunity. If Bound got away with that camouflage, I think this game is over. Instead, Native White, they're surging forward. They're going to have an opportunity to grab this camouflage. And although there's only 6 more kills until Space Station wins, with active camo on the hands of Native White, they have a clear path to victory.
Stellar's not playing for the camo right now. He's playing for the flay, and he finds 1 cleanup kill. He's looking for the second. He sets it up for a teammate, but he goes down. 8-point lead, 3 more kills for Space Station. Tie up the series. It's Eco with a double kill. Eco 13-9 with 9 assists as well. Tossed the Dynamo out. And that's going to be the game. That's going to be the series tied up. I'm not necessarily surprised Space Station came out with a win, but a win by 11 points might have caught me off guard. That's the most significant Slayer victory we've seen today.
They kept it close, but at the end of the day, they went 3-4 down 1 too many times. They were able to recover a couple of those times, but you can't recover every time. And counting on yourself recovering every time is is going to be a death sentence in a game. Spacestation were just very clear on making sure that they finished their collapses. Every time that they got 2 players down, they are pushing forward, trying to find that last player, and they were successful more times than not.
A great showing here from Spacestation, and a point that you mentioned yesterday, Tools, was how strong Spacestation is on Aquarius. They showed us in the CTF with a 4-2 win. They're showing us in Slayer 50-39 victory, a tied up series. We are guaranteed to go to a game 4, but I can't help but think after games 1 and 2 that this series is going to go the distance. We're going all the way to game 5. I can feel it brewing. Some great plays came out from both sides, but ultimately it was the 3 down multiple times for Native White that they couldn't respond to. They couldn't play that reactionary halo in order to get a step ahead of what Spacestation was doing.
Honestly, that last play right there that we saw on the screen where Gilkey wasn't able to get the triple kill might have had more impact than we let on in that moment, because from there it becomes even numbers, right? But if Gilkey gets that 3, then suddenly they're within 4 or 5 kills, and they have control of the map, and they have heat wave, right? We could definitely see a swing there. I think Stellar getting that trade in that position was a huge game changer for that Spacestation game.
Yeah, Stellar was really the player. I mean, look at 4K damage from Stellar. Everybody else in primarily 3K damage range. Stellar really the standout player when it came to that game number 2, and the reason why Spacestation are back in this series tied up. I'm eyeing the next few games, right? Because I'm going to stick to my prediction. Now that it's tied, it's a good spot to kind of reevaluate those predictions. I'm sticking with Native White winning, and I think it is going to come down to a game 5. So I'm just trying to decide which of these objective modes leans more towards Spacestation, leans more towards Native White in games 3 and 4. What are your thoughts, Tools?
I think this game's a swing game, and unfortunately for Native White, this is going to be the biggest test for them, because not only is Strongholds their worst game type, it's also Spacestation's best game type in a lot of ways, right? They really were forged in Halo 5, these players, and they were some of the best Strongholds players from Halo 5, and that has continued on their trend in the Halo Infinite, winning 75% of their Stronghold games. It's going to be an incredibly tough task for Native White to overcome. Expect to see Spacestation, the second they see openings to play for trip caps, to play forward and aggressive on the map, to do so.
And I'm looking for Native White to shake up the pace and not play that reactionary Halo. Maybe it's players like Tapping Buttons, who has the camo, that can start to push the issue. Good patience here, looking for the plays, but somebody must have smelled something on the side of the pipes, because the frags come through. Spacestation's gonna have some information about Tapping Buttons. You see the shock rifle in the hands of Bound as he lasers down a shot. No triple caps, but points are in the favor of Native White. Spacestation still just holding on to the B spawn.
Right, they might be scoring for the moment, but you can definitely tell the air is favoring Spacestation at the moment. Bound with his shock rifle, basically acting as an anchor at the back end of the map, getting people off the cross. They capture C successfully. Native White knows that it's a lost cost. They don't send any more resources over, but Gilkey dying in that position is dire, because you're going to see Spacestation start to flood their way towards A. If they can find a couple more picks that are unanswered, they're going to try to play for this trip cap. Love the play by Native White to double up and push through, though.
And they needed to double up, and even on that double up, they both ended up going down, and now it's the other 2 members of Native White following up behind. Mickwin gets 1 takedown. Penguin rotates through to get the cleanup, but he is taken down. Mickwin stays alive. Mickwin has the triple kill. Stellar might be the opportunity for the overkill, jumping down to contest at the back of B, but Stellar finds the kill. He stops the capture. Native White are back on the scoring side, and they're not giving up on this zone just yet until Eco gets the reset.
On Strongholds, oftentimes you're playing 2 games within 1. You're separating your team in half, and you're playing sections of the map. Mickwin did a phenomenal job at really finding 3 kills, but on the other side of the map, his teammate pushing towards C is what makes that play successful, right? They take the isolated player Bound, they push him out into an open position, and by the time Mickwin finishes his play, he's ready to clean it up, and it moves control back to Native White. Gave them a trip cap opportunity if Mickwin could have finished that overkill, but instead they'll settle for 2. They're ready to take control, and now Spacestation are trying to figure out a way to find their way to get to A.
Oh, Liquid has to watch his back. He has damage onto one player, but it's all four from Space Station that are making this push onto the A side. But as they all push to A, look at Native White. It's Gilkey rotating to B, trading out zones to keep Native White climbing the scoreboard.
Yeah, but look at the fight happening towards C. This is where the important action's going to come down, is who can win that fight at C. And the rotation just wasn't quick enough at C for Native White to take control. Instead, they're going to have to give that up. They try to find the slays on the back end, and it looks like they were successful at that. But you're going to see a lot of pressure keep mounting towards C, as Space Station's going to consistently push numbers towards that hill.
And Mikwin might be in trouble at the back of C. He drops down to the pipes, and there's multiple players from Space Station singling him out. And look at this, Native White. Mikwin stalled long enough that they can see a trade of A and C as Gilkey gets the perfect shock rifle kill. He gets the killing spree. He's looking for more. He's even doubling back to contest on C. He's looking for Penguin just around the corner to his right. He falls back to give advantage to that longer range weapon, but he kind of concedes that fight. In fact, it's Mikwin across the map cleaning up the kill. The team fire from Native White leading them to this doubled up score.
And that was a phenomenal job throughout Gilkey's life right there to play a middle ground but never get too aggressive, right? He's listening for the call outs and knowing where his shock rifle should have been, and because of that he was able to have just enough help for his team to continue on that trip cap for a bit longer, eventually secure 2. Now Space Station did get this camouflage, but Native White, they have a clear hold. If they can win these slays, they can counter off this camouflage.
Eco won a big fight at the top of A while Stellar was finishing off a kill. Eco is still alive, capturing A, and Bound is almost like the distraction on B. I don't think he expected that capture to come through, but what he did was make Native White think about him and buy a few seconds for Eco to complete the capture onto A.
Gilkey's doing it again. Winning. Look at Gilkey, he's in the back. He went all the way for the long flank, but he needs to finish this fight, and Penguin shuts it down. And now that timing that's lost could be detrimental to the side of Native White, as they're going to have to push more numbers into C, and you're going to see some counter rotations from Space Station. But the shock rifle always can equalize any play, hitting the headshot in the crucial moments.
Barcode with a double assist as Gilkey gets the double kill. Oh, nearly had the triple. Leaves Bound at one shot. Barcode still with that shock rifle in hand. 3 full bursts left to work with. Native White past the 150 mark. They're more than halfway onto this win as Mikwin gets a double kill. Barcode lines up the remote detonation, and he's going to be successful, making a double. The remote detonation into the perfect shock rifle.
He just sees the spawn. He's going to let his teammates know. They're going to wait for all of Space Station to spawn. Once he knows that no one can spawn behind him, he's going to be ready to play a little bit more aggressively, check corners, and while it could come to kill, Penguin just able to survive the shot a little bit too low, but his teammates aren't safe, and here comes the flood. I love how fast Native White has played this game. They are consistently getting into the hills. They're not letting opportunities slip by. They're going to get themselves another trip cap, and although this camouflage isn't necessarily guaranteed to go for them, you can tell that Space Station is starting to flounder in the end of this game.
The trip cap comes through from Native White. It couldn't be at a worse time for Space Station, crossing that 200-point mark, and a little bit of a desperate play. But look at the split here. We got Bound going to C. We have Stellar and Eco on A side, and B is also flipped by Penguin. You have 4 players split, 1, 1, and 2, and the counter triple cap is in for Space Station.
And what's fascinating about this play is the trip cap's in, but it came at a cost, right? They weren't able to grab this camouflage, and now Barcode makes his way underneath. He's going to be able to get it 36 seconds after it came up on the map. The camouflage is put in play, but Space Station was ready, used it as bait, and this is where Space Station's the most dangerous. There have been multiple times in HCS LAN tournaments where they have 250 to 0'd a team on this map and game type in particular.
Bound fights 2 players. He finds a kill onto one. That's the killing spree, but it's Barcode being a very difficult takedown. Both players are weak. They disengage for a moment. The health comes through. It's Eco getting the kill as Barcode spree continues. Native White, they have stabilized by getting that C capture, but Space Station off of that triple cap have tightened up this lead. It's just about, what, 55 seconds in between the 2 teams. Space Station still winning out the slays. Tapping buttons last alive for Native White, and Native White are once again forced into that position of a reactionary halo that has proved so devastating from the last match.
And Native White does have one benefit of having such a big lead, is that they can take their time to find and formulate the push that they want. But you better make it a good one when you're ready to go. It's a 2-on-1 against Penguin, and Penguin's doing his best to survive. Bound comes in from the help. It's the cross shots from Eco that shut it down. And although they took 45 seconds, it looked like a great push. They weren't able to execute fast enough. And now this game that was a massive lead for Native White is slipping away.
All four go down for Native White, and off the respawn, it's Mikman who makes his way to the active camo. This next play could make or break, and as the camo gets deleted, Space Station take the lead. An improbable comeback, but no better mode to do it in than the Strongholds. And right now they are continuing to add on. Stellar with a kill, Bound with another. They're reaching danger territory for Native White. The scramble we saw from Space Station has flipped to the other side.
Right, and now Native White have to change gears. They've been in control for this entire game, and now it's desperation time. They have to make last-second pushes. Gilkey and tapping buttons coming through, but it's just too easy for Penguin. He cleans it up. Barcode cannot die here. It's a last stand, and Penguin shuts him down. What a comeback from the Space Station boys.
What was the point deficit in that game? It was like over 150. It was incredible, the comeback potential. And you saw what you thought were the finishing touches of this game as Native White had the triple cap. How quickly was the table flipped back around? Space Station get a triple cap on their own. They get back in the game and they lock it down to take the lead in the series.
Right, it was 215 to 60 when this comeback starts to happen around that range.
155. Wow.
They get it all the way to 215 from this moment right before this comeback starts, and it just shows you why this is Space Station's best game type and mode. Game, mode, and map combination. There's no team that quite is as effective as they are when they get control of the map and know how to maintain their control. Once they get that stranglehold, it's almost impossible to break. They were so confident in their position and how they were going to play with each other that they just gave up camouflages. They did not care. They didn't pick up these last 2-3 camouflages. They just let the opposing team have them because they were so confident, so ready for whatever push could come that they knew they could win.
Game number one came down to overtime where Gilkey had the clutch play to reset the flags to get the victory. And now in game number 3, SSG with the ultimate comeback down 150 plus points. And they flip it back around. They stop Native White just shy. We're heading into that guaranteed game 4, and now Native White need to prove why they can force the game number 5. It's going to be right here. It's Oddball on live fire. We're on board with Barcode. This star player out of Australia is now moved to NA and is making a name for himself under this Native White roster. Oddball on the ground. The fight now going to be focused on the overshield 5 seconds away.
Nico's doing his best to survive, but here comes the big play, and it's Stellar who's responsible to shut this all down. That shroud screen might be enough for Tapping to get away. The shot through the smoke is not going to be successful. Overshield goes for Tapping. Tapping gets launched in the air. Stellar done some shotgun shooting in his time, is able to get that player down on the ground, but unfortunately, this is so back and forth between these teams. No one's really clearly winning in these engagements. This is about as mixy as you can get it.
Did I hear a little bit of like a twang in your voice right there? The shotgun shooter, like we're in the Wild West here. This town ain't big enough for the two of us. Both of the teams trying to make their mark in this tournament and in this series. Lower bracket run. One team continues on. One team is sent home. Native White are down in the series, but they're ahead in objective time by a slim margin. Can't count your chickens before they hatch after what we learned from game 3, the comeback from SSG.
Spacestation putting a lot of resources, right? Building a lot of stress and action towards this back A push, and it's a coordinated effort between Stellar and Bound that get the job done. And now, because they had a player kicked out towards Nest already, it gives them a clear rotate to B, and by the time Native White recovers and has a push, Stellar can just easily play this ball off. Spacestation resets and plays for the overshield.
Force the reset. Overshield 2 seconds away. Native White still with a bit of a lead, and it's Barcode kind of doubling back to regroup. A 1v1 Barcode versus Penguin. Penguin survived with 1 HP off of receiving that frag grenade damage, but it's Tapping Buttons who comes away with the overshield. Now Penguin survived the last encounter, but against overshield, Tapping Buttons doesn't want to play that fight. In fact, he's flanking around behind off of information. Sets up the assist. Stellar goes down. Bound is next up for grabs. Look at the movement from Tapping Buttons. Both movement masters in a 1v1 fight. Tapping Buttons comes out on top.
Yeah, both of those guys are strafing like crazy. And shout out to Tapping Buttons to maintain his reticle placement throughout that fight. I mean, Bounce hitting the gritty right in front of him, and he's not giving it up 1 second. That shows you the players that are so proficient at their one-on-one fights, and that's where Tapping Buttons in particular excels. It doesn't matter what kind of strafe you have, what kind of shot, Tapping Buttons always has a chance to win a gunfight.
Oh, looks like Bound wasn't happy with the outcome of the last 1v1. You see him re-engaging, this time with a repulsor at the ready. Wins out the fight, and now Spacestation are winning away that overshield. Barcode at bottom mid is flushed out by Penguin. Plasma Pistol seems some more rapid fire potential here. Mikwin stops it and has damage onto Stellar, but it's that rotation from SSG, rotating nearly to the back of B. The oddball sits out at the big door as bait for anyone that would go after it.
I love Stellar doing that push and pull, right? Making it feel safe, but the second he lulls you in, he comes back, gets the kill, and now that shroud screen actually helping him hold that ball as no one really has a clear line of sight in. He gets that ball in a play position. Now, last time Native White were able to effectively make Spacestation play that ball early. Yeah. I'm curious whether Spacestation are gonna play as early as they did last time. It's the same situation, right? Overshield coming up, sniper and Bounce hands. Oh, ooh, Mikwin just gets away with murder there.
Yeah, Mikwin gets away with robbery. He eats the body shot, but he ducks for cover. Nobody on the side of SSG is in position, but they have so much time from the objective. Because of this, they gave up the overshield in order to prioritize the oddball, and right now it's paying off. Bound is staying alive. Bound gets the assist. He doesn't need the overshield in order to make the plays.
Hey, you know, hey, shout out to Bound. He goes for a Blevins play over at the top tower, forcing his way out. And although the ninja attempt wasn't successful, what he did do was he kept Stellar in his spot, made him wait, and what that did was let the team shot come to fruition. They burned off that overshield, and those sniper plays from Bound really earn his team another 20-25 seconds of ball time. Finally, Native White have the ball in their possession, but how strong is their hold? Spacestation, see them all gathering together. They're gonna push as a unit to break this out.
And it looks like Native White are split 2 and 2. 2 players that had sandbags. Now Gilkey might rotate to the big door, but he's there too late. The play ball even worse. Not how much time do you get, but they didn't even throw the oddball off the map before SSG collapsed. And that might just be a round losing error to not play the ball soon enough. 10 more seconds now for Spacestation. Gilkey may be the only player in range, or some desperate grenade. 3, 2, 1. That's gonna be round 1 for Spacestation. They had the chunk of time in the middle of the game, and they get the finishing touches off of a failed reset.
And it's honestly, it's scary when the Spacestation gaming roster really gets into this hyper efficiency mode. It's almost machine-like the way that they create setups and then break apart holds. It's honestly a pleasure to watch, and this is where Spacestation, this is their ceiling, right? When they're playing at this level, they can beat anyone in the game. I always say that this Spacestation roster has one of the highest ceilings in the game. But Barcode's a little filthy himself sometimes.
Some nasty snipes from Barcode, and Native White are going to need more plays like that to force a game number 5. Gilkey has half of the overshield left to work with. Off of the start of round 2, Native White made some adjustments that paid off. They have the sniper, they have the overshield. Gilkey has eco on the run. They're rotating the objective, still winning out on the second round of slays. For only 6 seconds so far to count for. Bound is the last player alive in the back of C, and he gets away around the corner with his life. Barcode has the objective. He has to choose between holding the oddball or going after this fight. It's Bound versus Barcode. Bound back at full health. He has Barcode on the run. Barcode is forced to play the ball. What a huge win from Bound.
Reversal.
Bound even gets Barcode away. Barcode tried his hardest to stay alive in that situation, but it just wasn't meant to be. Bound shuts it down, and that's going to allow this ball to rotate out and be in a powerful position for Space Station. That last second pick, though, might be enough for Native White to recover and stabilize, as they're going to be able to push these numbers into an even fight against Space Station.
But the pressure is on Barcode yet again. You saw him as the last alive for Native White in that pivotal fight at the back of C Tower. And here again, Barcode is left isolated from the rest of the team. He's taken down as the combined force of Space Station rolls through. Nobody from Space Station yet picking up that oddball. They're trying to clear out some space. Stellar backs a player down to B stairs. As Barcode yet again re-engaging. Ball is about to be reset for inactivity. Stellar gets back to it just in time.
And Mikkel was waiting back here, but he pushed himself up at a really awkward position. He wanted to burn that overshield off, right? That was his priority. Unfortunately, the noob combo, it's not a guaranteed thing anymore in Season 3. You have to be, I think, a little bit more mindful of how you are going to play that position back there. Unfortunately, it just doesn't come through.
Eco still has overshield left to work with. It's a whole other round of engagement, and he still has just that little bit of health advantage. He gets 1 kill. He knows that tapping buttons at the top of the tower. A lead here from Space Station, even though Native White had all the power-ups early in the game. They didn't get more than 10 seconds on the oddball. You see the assist come through. It's Bound with the sidekick, cleaning up the rest of that kill.
What I'd really like to point out right now is the efficiency of Space Station of holding this ball and how they're really sharing the resource this time around. Traditionally, you'd see Penguin be that ball holder for this team, but they're getting everyone involved in the objective so far, and it just shows that, yeah, sometimes you come in with a game plan of this is going to be our objective player, he's going to hold the ball, but sometimes things get broken. That player's not in the position that they need to be, and you have to adapt, and I think that's where Space Station is so effective, because every player on this team has just such a big brain for Halo. Yeah. They can all pick up any role. They can mold themselves into whatever position they need to be in.
But they also have like the history, right, of playing together, whereas Native White are still building on that story. So you had mentioned showing signs from Native White of trusting teammates. Maybe like if Native White are showing, you know, like they have some of that, Space Station are just doubling down on that trust, that teamwork that they have. And so far it's paying off. They have a significant lead here. They do lose that overshield yet again. Eco is dropped, that sniper rifle is down, but Penguin is answering. 2 go down for Space Station. Native White have the overshield. It's tapping buttons, and Gilkey cleans up the rest of that kill. We need to see a good chunk of time, 20 to 30 seconds at least, for Native White to get back in this game.
Well, that's the best break that Native White has had yet. Really critical in the way that they set up. Every role was filled, every position watched, and they were able to get those kills. And now making a little unorthodox play with this ball. Gilkey keeping it towards cuts, not really in that stranglehold position that you're normally seeing. And unfortunately for Native White, that adaptation that they try to go for just isn't successful. They lose individual fights, and Space Station, once again, they're cold, they're clinical in the way that they overtake positions. It's really some of the best Halo that you can watch, the way that they work with each other, have perfect timings to break setups, and that's why you're seeing Native White. They have slays, right, but they're not quite able to get the holds that they want, because they get set up, it's immediately broken every time throughout this game.
Yeah, Space Station, anything that Native White brings at them, Space Station have had an answer, but right now it's Penguin last alive. 4 down for Space Station would be exactly what Native White need. They're finally getting some time on the objective. This round has been all Space Station, looking like they were ready to take this series. But we finally see a little bit of a bounce back. Look at the rotation. Gilky takes the ball through cuts and now doubles back to re-engage onto Bound. Great teammate between the teamwork between these two players, but a little bit of a friendly grenade is going to take Native White 3 down. Mikwin is the last alive, trying to get that objective somewhere that's easier to defend.
Finds that opening pig, and look at Native White. They're roaming as a pack, right? They keep 3 BRs with each other. They're going to try to melt this overshield player before they can get away, but it comes at a massive cost that they're not successful. Now all their positions are known. They've lost overshield. All right, Gilky with this snipe could make all the difference.
Well, he hits one and then he melts the overshield on the second. He gets the assist, but Penguin has a double kill on the other side. It's Mikwin versus Penguin. Mikwin gets the win. They have the objective. Okay, 27 seconds down. Mikwin's finally dealt with. Stellar on the runaway. And Gilky hits the no-scope through the smallest window, threading the needle on that snipe.
Threading the needle of the snipe, and Barco does the same with his BR. I mean, heroics to make sure that this ball doesn't fade away for Space Station Gaming. But where's the follow-up, right? You made huge plays for your team. Now the rest of your team needs to get there and stop this ball for Space Station. Win the fight, and Gilky does it again. Phenomenal plays from the Gilky.
Gilky is doing everything for the team right now. Lead Slayer, lead assist, lead objective time, but you need other players from Native White to fill in on those roles. Right now it's Barcode holding the objective. He stays alive, barely jumping off the side to get to some cover. It's cutting into that lead. It's only a 15-second difference. This is not over yet. Gilky is still alive. He's rotating the oddball through tunnels. Penguin on the chase. Eco is tracking down. The pinch between Penguin and Eco could result in the outcome of this game as Penguin gets one. He grabs the oddball. Eco wins another kill. Mikwin, are you gonna get there in time? 12 seconds left. 13.
And the problem is that the clock's working against them now, right? So even when Space Station drops this ball, they're comfortable with it. And this push, tapping buttons, the last alive. He has to take on the entirety of Space Station as they start to reach that atmosphere. They're getting their way to another top finish as Space Station Gaming look clinical in the oddball.
A great win from Space Station. Full credit to Gilky with a couple of incredible snipes, but it just wasn't enough for Native White to build off of. They had their opportunities to break through. They just couldn't see it all the way through to the finish line. And I think the perfect example of that was the game 3, right? The 150 plus lead that Native White had, and they just couldn't execute all the way to that 100% mark. Instead, it's Space Station showing us a level of persistence in each of these games to hold on and to ice up.
Yeah, honestly, I think this is the best game I've seen from Space Station, right? The comeback was great, but the beginning was a little bit sloppy. Throughout this entire game, it just looked clean. And whenever they did lose control, it was because of heroic plays by Native White, and you just can't account for those, right? When you're talking about it as a team, sometimes you just have to chalk something up to someone hitting a great shot or making a phenomenal play. But when it came to the team play, the teamwork, the composition of how you held that ball, Space Station was just one step ahead. They looked methodical, they looked clean. There was nothing to really complain about for this team. It was just a clean game. Yeah, that snipe from Gilky was just phenomenal. Can we wind that one back maybe? Because I love that sniper shot.
I love that play. It wasn't enough. He ends up getting another snipe here, I think, as well onto Stellar. Watch, it's like almost the same angle down to the bottom mid. I'm not sure where it happens, but he gets a couple of them. One there, he gets taken down off the respawn. I think he gets another snipe kill right there. A couple of great moments from Native White, and maybe we haven't seen what this team's potential is yet, but they have, at least for now, met their match when it comes against Space Station. I don't think it's a series that would surprise anyone. I'm happy it was a game 4. I was itching for a game 5, but a great showing from both teams. And Native White maybe just seen from VOD review, going back and seeing how they can take their game to the next level. Space Station Gaming has to be their next priority of teams to take down if they are going to scale up from here.